Nothing of me. The jumper and bag and bones. My son's 17 too now. It's crazy just thinking that. Good atmosphere. So I started against Lebanon, did I? I can't remember that.
South's President George Piggins intends to continue his fight against the NRL and News Limited.
And then you subpoena them, and then you get them to open the books, and you see who's been fair dinkum.
One of the most famous clubs of all, South Sydney. 20 premierships in a battle for survival.
We're not going to go away. We're going to ride the storm and we're going to stick at it.
Listen boys, we're about a month away from the big clubs in rugby league history. And the reason we're this far now is because these guys outside. So I want you blokes to go there and something to cheer about. They don't know much to cheer about in 12 months. You go and make it proud of yourself, okay? Good luck, both.
I grew up around Waterloo, Redfern, so it's pretty much heart of South Sydney territory. People say Maroubra is, but Redfern and Waterloo is. Just a local kid from the area. Grew up playing with Alexandria Rovers, and I just enjoyed rugby league. It was part of my family, and everything that we've done around the area was related to rugby league. We'd jump the fence here, play footy on Redfern Oval. Get chased off by old Reggie the Rabbit when he used to live here back in the days.
The red and green, here's Shane Walker with plenty of numbers running in support. Russo got away, Merritt will score in the corner. Merritt scores for the Rabbitohs.
He is South Sydney down to his bootstraps. He started playing when he was 4 for the Alexandra Rovers.
My grandfather, Eric Robinson, he played with Rabbitohs back in the 60s, I think it was. My dad's played in the lower grades of South here. Had a few family links towards South Sydney, so pretty much felt like I was destined to be here.
Nathan Merritt, there it is, try number 5.
It's a great achievement for me personally, something I'll probably look back on when I'm retired, and probably soak it in then, but I'll just soak it in the win tonight.
My footy fanatic grandmother used to take us to the footy games, and me and my cousin Trent Robinson, we used to walk over to Moore Park and watch South play, or would go with our grandmother, Nan, and she'd take us to the games, and be a common theme every weekend or every second week we'd go to footy. Whenever South were playing locally here, would always be there.
Take out the dummy half rent for over 150 metres as Merritt breaks through. Here goes Nathan Merritt. He's just going to outsprint them. Here comes Simmons. Doesn't have enough. Merritt is in, another long-range try from South Sydney.
I've seen him grow up from a little boy, and I know he comes from good stock in the Merritt family, and they're a mad rugby league family, and all very talented. From his grandfather Ronnie and to Tony, and his uncle Graham was one of my favourite players, and he was a fantastic player as well. He played here at South too.
My old man and Tugger grew up around each other, around Alexandria ways. Our families are pretty tight friendship about it, so Tugger's always been a great person to always talk to about rugby league, and he's been a good guidance along the way for me in my rugby league career.
He always comes and says hello. He's the most respectful young kid, but he's always been quiet. He's always been a quiet boy, and he just does his job. He's there to score tries, and he's certainly done that for many years at South Sydney.
Beautiful work. They're going in. Nathan Merritt's got a treble. Nathan Merritt's got 3 for the night.
One of my favourites, Nathan. Yeah, I love him.
Well, one more here. Good luck. Over at the back. Yeah. Great shot. Slide at the back, quick. They can't see the socks now, mate.
Hands is a fist in the front, that's right. Georgie, on your knees here. Bring him back a bit, mate. Bring him back. That's it. Yeah, lovely. That's it, yeah. Yeah, feet straight.
3, 2, 1.
I went to America when I was about 12 years old with my grandmother, so I actually probably did meet a few people, so yeah, but it was weird to have their accents and stuff like that, the way they'll talk. And I remember one of their plays, they'd done an NFL style play. So we were just sitting there off guard, caught off guard, don't know what's going on. We're just looking at each other, laughing. Our lad runs in goal and scores a try. It was like a touchdown. No, the ref let it play out, but they brought it back. But it was great fun to see him, enjoyed himself.
The Tomahawks game, that was great. It was just because in those days, we didn't have much. Australian sport doesn't have much to do with American sport, do they? They play baseball, they play all sorts of funny sports. And we don't, Australia never plays America in anything. We play the Poms, we play the Kiwis, the French, in all sports, and cricket, but we don't play America. And all of a sudden, this big thing, America's coming to Australia, they're going to play South Sydney.
Pretty sure the Tomahawks were coming out here for a tour. Somebody decided, well, we'll another fundraiser here, we'll play the Tomahawks and try and raise a few dollars.
The juniors had quite a bit to do with it, and I think Frank Cookson was very much involved.
Was very involved. The game that we funded was when we played the Tomahawks. We put up all the money for it, for the promotion of it, the expenses and whatever. That was done under Frank Cookson. He handled that part of those negotiations, and that game wouldn't have got off the ground without the juniors. So I kicked off that game because that was nearly my farewell.
South Sydney needs the mighty Rabbitohs. I'd just like to say to the ladies and gentlemen here tonight, we've had a sample of how strong we are in the Junior League. We're alive, we're strong, we've got many, many budding young footballers ready to come and wear that mighty red and green jumper. We must be given that chance for those kids to play for Souths.
This is the promised land, South Sydney. We've got a great conveyor belt of juniors coming along. Every junior will get a go. Stick with us.
I'd forgotten that I'd actually emceed that Tomahawks game. Out there in the middle in my blue jacket, middle of winter.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Redford Oval. Well, folks, we're sorry that we're running a little bit late, but as I told you earlier, there was that many people outside that George Piggins had to go out 10 minutes ago and open the gates to let everybody in. We're hoping that everybody's in now. So welcome to this game. It's been a big thing for us. From the Rabbitohs, from George Piggins, the board of directors, and all our volunteers. It's a landmark day in the club's history. And the Rabbitohs go back on the podium after 12 months.
Redford Oval was packed. It was just unbelievable. It was like the last game we played there when it was full.
What was significant was we had that game on at the same time as there was, I think it might have been a semi-final that was on at the football stadium.
It was on the same night the Roosters were playing because we knew we'd certainly outdo them.
We probably had more people than they had at the traditional game.
The official figure that we had for that game, and I remember it really clearly, was 18,556 people. I still remember the number.
We all expected America because, you see them on TV, they're big, because they've got all these paddings, and then we thought they're going to smash South, they're going to smash us. We were all worried. I got my video camera and I saw him getting off the bus and I was thinking, oh yeah, he looks big, oh, he looks fast. And we followed him into the dressing room, tried to catch him, to see what they were like and that sort of stuff. Then I'd go in the South's dressing room and hear what they're going to do, their tactics, and then I'd go into there, hear their tactics and work out who's going to win here today. I think his name is Jeff Preston, the American captain. He was so good with words. I've never heard anybody talk like him. He was going, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And they were like, yeah. And I was thinking, we're going to die. They're going to kill us in front of 20,000 people.
I remember being told that I was playing, and it was an overwhelming feeling. Being a 17-year-old kid, that's the same age as my son at the moment, so I could just put myself in his shoes and just think, how did I do it? You know, I can't believe how I done it. I was shy as, you know, and going out there and putting the jumper on and playing against all them men. It was pretty daunting to be in that position.
I spoke to his dad about him playing, and he said, yeah, he's all for it, and Nathan loved the game, and the rest is history, isn't it?
That was a surprise that Tucker picked him in the team, but he proved on the day that that was worthy selection.
Well, there you go. He was showcasing what was to come, wasn't he? Fantastic player for us. Fantastic.
Be ready, you know, keep supporting. That's the encouragement words that he used to always tell me, and, you know, them words actually worked out pretty good for me, you know, and that's what I done. Everything was electric there that night, just being a young teenager, experiencing the big time.
That Tomahawks game, I didn't want that to go ahead. I thought that was very risky for the club, and if we had got flogged 40-0 or whatever, I just thought it was a risky thing.
Sure enough, we dropped the ball. America get the ball, they do some magic, and they score. It was really quiet at one stage. No one was going, oh. But then the people were going, yeah, good on them, they scored.
I got outvoted. The game went ahead. It was an outrageous success. I emceed that night, and I've got to say that my opinion of not wanting the game to go ahead was wrong at the time. But that's where I was in my head, and I didn't want to risk anything for the club, and I didn't want to give those guys an opportunity to say, there they are, got beat 40-0, and stab us. But the opposite happened. We got really positive press out of that, and it was a wonderful day for the club, and it was chock-a-block at Redfern Oval.
You won't believe it. We scored 80 points.
I'd just like to say thank you for allowing us to come over here to this fine city to play the South Sydney Rabbitohs.
South Sydney Rabbitohs.
It's an honor for us to come over here and be able to play this team. And I wish you guys the best of luck. Thanks.
We just needed fundraisers, we needed footy matches, we needed, you know, avenues to raise money just to keep us in the public eye. Because the Tomahawks game had gone so well, we thought we'd back it up with another game.
You just went to each game thinking, okay, here we go again, we're playing another game, which is good.
A week later, we played Lebanon.
John Elias and Sam Ayub, the player manager, had dinner with us one night at the club and raised this to George, and it came to fruition.
At that game, we invited the boss of the NRL, David Moffat, to the game to try to move him. It didn't.
I haven't spoken to you for a while. Yeah, we had that cup of tea together.
You're always in the back of your mind that we weren't going to get back.
It's actually his first time at Redfern.
Yeah, I've never been to Redfern before.
Trying to keep our name in the public eye and work towards a result.
I respect you, and whatever happens, happens.
You never really thought that it would happen.
How can I seize, capitalise, kill, smash, bash, anything you guys want? It's up here, okay? You got that? Terrific.
I'm Lebanese myself, right? And I thought, yeah, let's give it to these guys, you know what I mean? South, give it to them, come on.
Down their end, day tag, right? One end, block, two back end, back to short side.
That game was a lot more intense. Watching the highlights, I had number 1 on my back, so I started that game. glad that Tugger gave me the chance to have that opportunity back then. That would have been something that I would have cherished. Just trying to read the play and support up the middle, and that's how I scored the tries.
By Tom Ellis at the West Bat, they're showing it. He gets it.
They were physical. I remember Jimmy Sedaris picked up this guy. He just dumped him in his head. There was a few fights here and there, woof, woof, punching.
A little bit of a little push and shove, but I think everything worked out well.
It was like 22-18 half time, our way. We ended up running away with it in the end.
All you had to do was put the jumper on and we took control of the rest. Yeah, where's he patting his backflip? Look at Hendo. Well, Hendo looks different too. That's crazy, man.
I really enjoyed it. It was a great game of football, and thanks very much for inviting me to South Sydney and the Lebanese community. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Tom. You know, Billy Moore from North Sydney come and play with us, and you know, we had Tony Iro who kept playing, who'd retired from footy in '99, and he was there for us, and Justin Lumans, who's living in North Queensland, come down. There were a heap of them. They just all wanted to get in and help South get back in.
We got back the players and dragged the players that we could, that we knew were South Sydney players, but we also got some stars like Billy Moore, you know, who never played with the Rabbitohs, was a North Sydney man and was renowned for his Queenslander call in his state of origin performances.
The likes of McGregor and Hill and Wishart, etc. I think that they've got to use.
We wouldn't let him yell out Queenslander, but you're not allowed to do that.
Did you just get the shout, Queenslander?
No, yeah, I wish I did. If I was a bit more gamer, I would have, spoke up a bit more. But I was being a young, shy kid, so I just kept in my lane and just played the game.
Queenslander! Passionate man, Billy Moore.
He's a man with morals and principles, Billy, and he just rang up and he wanted to come on board and help us out, and it was fantastic. It was just like the people who supported South from other clubs was unreal.
South Sydney front rower. South get back in. South Sydney front rower. Not only for South Sydney, but I think rugby league. I think there's a place that South Sydney can fill in rugby league today.
If I think back, there's probably a couple of guys like that just thought it was wrong and wanted to lend a hand, and Billy was one of those guys.
There was a lot of players, a lot of people involved in the game that just didn't believe what was happening was right and were willing to throw their support behind it. It was a great time to be a Rabbitoh.
The word just got around rugby league players, like we had Jimmy Smith playing with us there as well and stuff like that, and Billy being the kind of bloke he was, he just wanted to help.
He didn't get no money for it. He got a couple of years after the game, and just like we all did. But we all had the same dream of getting South Sydney back in.
Big ticks for all those blokes that stepped up to the plate. Great man, Billy Moore.
Always has been something I want to do for all my life. I grew up in the area. It's very sad to see Rabbitohs out of competition, and we'll do everything we can to get the fans back, and we want to get Rabbitohs back on board.
The whole thing about that, cheering for Souths, is we never thought we'd see Souths again. You know, we got kicked out. All this stuff that was happening, it was while we were dead. And for us to cheer South Sydney to victory, it was just, and deep down we knew that we were out. But to cheer South Sydney in those two games and the other games was just something special.
It's all about South and the fans, it's giving back to the fans, and what they wanted to see is Rabbitohs back in the competition.
This hadn't happened before. No one knew what was next. Before we knew it, we were in court, and the eminent Tom Hughes, QC, I mean, this bloke is a legal legend. When the opposition saw that Mr. Hughes was going to be our man, they went, oh.
All of our supporters were up in the gallery because it was the largest court. They tolerated that.
That particular court case is the largest sporting legal challenge in the world.
QC for the NRL said, Your Honour, if people stop supporting South, they'll find another club to support. Well, the place erupted. People, bullshit.
Mate, there was a lot of things that were percolating underneath that were against us. Again, I go back to News Limited and Kerry Packer. Mate, these guys are big hitters from the top end of town. You can't win against them.
We lost the application. Then we were left with only one option, that was to appeal to the full bench.
On the 12th of November, next Sunday week, we're going to march again.
3, 2, 1, march.
And they were coming and coming. It wasn't stopping. And I was thinking, geez, this is a lot bigger than what I thought was going to happen here.
It was a story every day. It never, ever stopped.
It was the biggest event in Sydney.
There was 80 to 100,000 at that second rally.
Thank you for coming. Stay strong, be smart, and please welcome the President of South Sydney, Mr. George Pickens.